Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wired Gaming. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you are all good and are having a great day. Today we have something from Survive the Nights. And now I know it's not usually, we usually do Survive the Nights on a Monday every now and then when there's some new stuff or some funky news that's coming out. But this one is a dev letter and an April update. Now they've changed the way that they're doing things, which is quite interesting. I'm quite excited to see which way they go with this. From now on, they're going to be spending a lot more time working on updates, and updates are going to come out more spaced out. So rather than a monthly or 6-week update, it's going to be 2 to 3 months. Sometimes even longer, maybe even 4 to 6. So that's a lot of time. With that amount of time, we could be seeing some major changes between each update of Survive the Nights. This one that's come out in April has a lot of fixes to it, a lot of funky stuff to keep it going up until the next one. But we have a good letter from JT, which is the lead dev over at A to Z Interactive. So let's have a look and see what they've said. So it's been a while. We've been mega busy here in the studio, and 1.16 has become somewhat of a milestone for us. We've been focusing for so long on quality of life, overall player retention, and generally trying to make the game something we can all be proud of. Together with the community, we've created something cool. It's taken a lot of grind and time, but together we finally produced a version of the game which feels like a game. Don't get me wrong, there's still loads of improvements to be made. From here, we're going to change things up again. The monthly updates have been amazing for analysing how all of you are experiencing the game, and it has allowed us to refine the tutorial and iron out bugs without you having to wait 2 months between updates. The downside is that it puts a lot of pressure on our small team to bash out quality updates, sometimes resulting in too many small fixes. We're going to draw a line under the game for now, and version 1.16 is stable and implements a lot of fixes that a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. Some are listed below, but check out the changelog for more details. As per usual, ladies and gentlemen, in the description down below, that is where you can find the changelog, as well as my socials and all of A to Z Interactive's socials. So the plan going forward is a long cycle update. We're talking 4 to 6 months on this one. Something that brings in some big ticket features and a bunch of other fun stuff. Maybe we'll leave early access around this time, maybe we won't. Making Survive the Nights has always been about producing the game and the game that we and the community want to play. Something that we are still 100% dedicated to. We've always shied away from the prospect of a publisher, and from now on we're going to change that up. A great publisher could work wonders for the public reception of the game. We're not afraid to admit that we're not the best at marketing. We try to put all our limited resources into making the game great. If you have any recommendations for publishers that would suit Survive the Nights, please let us know. We'll happily reach out and see if they'd be interested. Now, I agree a publisher could be very cool, but on their end there are some very simple things that they could do. I'm not slating them, and I am not a marketer or anything like that, but you scroll through the Survive the Night socials and it is just links to changelogs, and which, you know, you go on that, it's a bit like, oh, okay, cool. I don't really just there's not much to it. I think they went through a really cool stage of posting little videos and little snippets of the game and things that were going on, and then they were sharing people's stuff. I think doing things like that really helps get your game out there, and it's just something that's so simple. I try and do it with my channel as much as possible, try and share little videos on our socials, and also try and share other people's stuff and just try and get connected with everyone. And I think that goes a really long way in getting your name out there. But hopefully, if they do find a publisher, and coming out of early access as well is just a massive thing, it could work really well for the game. Now, vehicle fortifications, melee overhauls, POIs, cloud servers, character customization, structure improvements, and new vehicles, weapons, and traps are some of the big ticket things we hope to achieve in the next version. What are some of the features that you'd all like to see? Not everything will make the cut, but we're confident we can deliver an update that gives our dedicated player base what they really want. Which is great. That's amazing. That's fair enough. Now, hopefully, even though it is going to be sort of 4 to 6 months time between updates, or maybe, you know, 1 or 2 updates a year. We'll still see the devlogs from the team, because the devlogs are really quite good, a lot of them, and there's some very interesting stuff that you can learn, and it's just nice to see what's happening with the game in the development cycle, how things are coming along, what's changing, and that way it keeps everybody in the loop and brings a lot more hype for the next update, which I think is really important. And obviously, I've not been covering the devlogs as much as I used to. That's because a lot of the stuff that they've been doing recently is working on finer details and making the game really good. And fine-tuning things, making zombies better, making areas better, upgrading little bits here and there. Which is, as good as that is, it's not really worthy of a video because it's not that interesting in a video. Which... That sounds like I'm slating. I'm not slating. I don't mean to be if that does come across that way. But yeah, it's not that interesting in a video. People want to see like the new fortifications and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very interesting that they are sort of spreading it out this much. We could see just an absolutely marathon really cool stuff. Very excited to see what they do over the next few months. Now, the major changes in version 1.16. Item decay, a long-standing issue with server stagnation, especially since we added the home setting. We've gotten around to implementing a decay system that gives all the persistence players need, whilst also clearing up after players that have moved on. This should make the experience more consistent overall. It means this update requires another DB reset. Sorry, this feature lays down the foundation for no more after this point though. We'll dedicate ourselves to proper DB management so that no more resets are needed unless absolutely essential. And stunning. Okay, cool. Players now get stunned by zombies, with constantly battling with the balance between zombie amounts, their difficulty, and what incentivizes the player to progress from melee. We've landed on stunning. When the player gets hit, they'll slow down slightly. This means that players need to be way more strategic when interacting with a higher amount of zombies that the game now has. Don't worry though, there's still more ammo to cut overall to counter this, so progressing from melee should feel more natural and fun. Zombie behavior. This one is tougher than you might think. Even internally, it can be difficult to all agree on how zombies should behave. We all have our favourite zombie move, zombie movie, show or video game, and there really isn't one correct way for zombies to behave. Over the past updates, we're committed to getting the zombies outdoors during the day, having way more and making them varied in speed. One thing we didn't really adjust was their aggro system. Back when zombies were inside during the day, we needed to be really strict with the aggro so it felt balanced and you couldn't draw too many at once. Some of you probably remember entering the original police station and drawing all 30 zombies out in one go. I remember that, it was terrifying. It was fun though, but it was terrifying. Now they're outside, slow and in higher quantities. It feels like triggering one should trigger more zombies in the area. Zombies are now way more sensitive to the sounds players are making, and this does bring a whole new element of strategy for the player to consider when interacting with large amounts of zombies. PvP improvements. You don't need to know how many times I've accidentally killed a JB while we're trying to hold down a house. It's not my fault if he runs in front of my gun, right? Friends now have health bars so that you can help each other out in desperate moments, and PvP damage overall has been nerfed a bit because it was pretty savage in general. Other players still aren't MMO boss level strong, however, meaning PvP remains a serious threat. Alright, I like. No more compass. This may make some people very happy. We used to rely heavily on the finding of the map and crafting of the compass. The game's got enough other features that we no longer needed that as a crutch. It's more important now that players can find each other when getting in-game or know where they need to head after death. Players now have access to a map and compass all the time. On a side note, we'll be introducing a hardcore mode that involves a proper hardcore survival, aka no compass, lower starting health, etc. Metal refineries. JB's been working on a design and has introduced a new set of metal factory type buildings all over the map. These locations are super useful for finding scrap metal in large quantities and is something that's going to be needed if you want to start crafting and using free placed forts. 15 new areas have been added in total. You can find them on map by looking for the anvil and recycling station. Interaction responsiveness. In this update, we're focused on a lot of mechanics that still felt clunky. Things aren't perfect by any means, but overall, things like fortifying or using placement mode shouldn't feel as muted. This makes general gameplay smoother, and will continue this refinement in all the updates to come. Tutorial improvements. It is dirty work, and it's not fun, but it's much needed to get people on board in the first place. We've made another set of changes to get players involved with the features the game has. They're all listed in the changelog, but mostly focus on getting players through to fortifying the horde in survival game loop. For now, we're not going to focus on any more early game stuff. It'll be mid-game and fun stuff and fixes. Now that is what I want to hear. Yes! A lot of the past 2 to 3 months has been a lot of early game stuff and bug fixing. But now, mid-game, fun stuff. Yes, that is what's going to make me be back and covering the game weekly. I want more things to do, especially go around. Once you've gone around and looted all the buildings, you've done all that kind of stuff, you've seen a lot of it. So now having some more stuff to do will be very good. When this next update is going to come out, God knows. But sounds good. I like it. Now, overall health mechanic. It is still far from perfect, but we are dedicated to making the overall health principle work. We know that players want to develop their character over the duration of their life. It's just a case of incentivizing it and properly communicating it to the player. We've decided to increment the health and stamina gains in a step of 15 instead of 10. This gives the player more incentive to start managing their overall health. Additionally, we've lowered the starting calories requirement and increased the multiplier as the overall health raises. This will allow new life players to onboard with the overall health system much better than before. Consumable loot. A major issue in the game has been, for the longest time, the amount of consumable loot. It's kind of always made the improvement methods of preparing food pointless. The difficulty is that we want to make sure new players can always find food, but we've nerfed consumable loot by almost 50%. To counter this for new players, we have nerfed the starting calorie requirements for the base overall health. This does mean that players need to find much less food when they first get started. On the opposite end, the calorie requirement multiplier is now higher as you raise overall health. This should mean that players naturally have to progress to hunting, growing, and stewing to manage their own and increase their overall health. Very nice. I like. So, overall, some very good news. There are a lot of patch notes here, and I mean a hell of a lot. This patch notes goes on for a very, very long time. So if you do want to check it out, it will be in the description down below. Also, I know it's a little bit late notice, but the sale that is on sale at the moment for 40% off. It is now £9.29 GBP. I don't know what that is in other currency. Very sorry. It's normally £15.49, and it ends on Monday, April the 11th. I'm hoping to get this video out on a Sunday evening. Hopefully I can. We shall wait and see. If I do get it out, then take note, you've got a couple of hours left to get it. If it is out late, then I'm very sorry, and ignore what I just said. For today, though, ladies and gentlemen, but before we go, I just want to say a few things about Surviving Nights. And obviously, I haven't been covering it as much, but that is because it's been very early game stuff that I don't really want to play, stuff that's not that great on my end of things. And I am covering updates as they come out, if there are any, stuff like that, just to keep people updated, because the game is great, and I know a lot of people don't really read the patch notes and all that kind of stuff, the update notes and all that. So it's nice. I try and keep it up, and whenever I do put an update video out, they do relatively well. So I will always be doing those. Devlogs will be on a case-by-case basis. If it's got some really funky stuff in, I will cover it, which, by the sounds of today's dev letter, the devlogs going forward are going to all contain some pretty cool stuff. I'm hoping we find out a little bit more about when these updates are going to be coming, and whether we'll still receive devlogs, and whether the team's going to be in touch with the community between each update. Obviously on their Discord they chat and stuff, but whether there'll be things going on socials and Steam and all that kind of stuff is yet to be seen. I think seeing like a dev stream once a month or something could be quite cool. Whether they do that is to be seen. For today though, that is it. Thank you everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the channel a little bit further, consider checking out the members tab down below. For today, I've been Wyatt, you've been awesome, thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon with some more Survive the Nights.